Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Well, sitting here working on this maintenance right now. Honestly, I'm not a perfectionist. I never will be. Matter of fact, there's no need for it to be perfect. As long as it's listenable and watchable, what does anybody else care? I guess it's because other people talk about how great it was, or how legendary it'll be, and everything else. I don't know, that's more of a hindsight kind of thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, don't be afraid of the fact that it's not perfect. Just be afraid of the fact that it didn't happen at all. Because that's very horrible. But speaking of ways, it has nothing to do with me because... Welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio.
Hey, what's going on, J360 Legion? Welcome to the J-Man Show here on J360 Radio for episode 171. I am your host, J.M. Brady, of course, otherwise known as J-Man, otherwise known as leader of J360 Production, or what a lot of people tend to say, oh God, it's him. Yes! Back for another one, y'all. And it feels so good. Hey, if things sound kind of different, I'm on the portable set tonight. Matter of fact, I'm letting, the studio needs to upgrade itself, so I'm just gonna sit there and let it do what it got to do, because if you're premature about this stuff, you're gonna get that result. Oh, pardon my French. I don't mean to say that, because I know some of y'all are very tense about things these days. Though at the same time, if you run around and you start saying, certain things when it's terms of comical dialect, and in terms of, putting smiles on people's faces, apparently there's a subgroup out there that doesn't like that sort of scenario. And it is a damn shame. I don't want to live in a world where people are overtly sensitive and things are controlled by people with special interests. And not only that, where people lie to each other on the daily and then sit there and complain about non-issues to make them issues, thereby diluting us away from certain things that need to be handled. And at the same time, listening to an oligarchy try to tell you that it's democracy out there and God knows it's not happening. Oh my God, I just described a whole bunch of the way the world is, huh? Actually, no. Yes, I did. What's really funny? See, when people go about saying this sort of thing, I think it's cute because a lot of people are saying, there's a coup out there, Jay. There's a lot of this stuff going on. If you support Joe Biden, it'll get worse. If you support Trump is for the people. Trump is for white people. There's a big, giant difference about what the hell Trump is for nowadays I think about it. I would love to see somebody that was actually for everyone. But you know what, though? Hey, one way or another, everybody's got their vice, everybody's got their bias, and it doesn't mean that I have to celebrate and tolerate the crap. I just look at it like this: you full of it. And it doesn't make any damn sense. If anything, go for the lesser of two evils. Or at the same time, just go for somebody who could actually get the job done. But, once again, in media, and I tend to see this in mainstream media a lot, there's no value or no growth in doing the right thing. That's a damn shame, right? But hey, that's your opening argument right now. However, that's not what this show's about. Matter of fact, this is all about the entertainment. And speaking of which, as I was working on a few things, I've noticed, 2020, almost made me lose a little track of time. The thing is, all these maintenance and all these upgrades will be finished, I'd like to say at the very least, at the very least. Yeah. When are they going to be finished? Lost my train of thought on that. I'm kidding. Actually. They're all going to be finished by anniversary day. You got a few important dates coming up. Let's see. 10/30, which is this month, the 30th. Scorpio season. So all you Scorpios out there, it's time for us to do what we got to do. I'm going to show all these people out there how it's done. Going ahead and show the definition in our bodies and just say, yeah, we want our souls to be fulfilled. We're going to go out there and have so much sex. Sex! That's what it's all about. Get the wild thing going. Yep. Put the spurs to them all. And that includes you female Scorpios out there too. You know what I'm talking about. It's all inclusive, y'all. Orgy Fest is back. Oh, yes. And by the way, make sure you be safe about it now, because you don't want crotch fire, That's a problem. Yes. Isn't it amazing? Like when COVID-19 came into our lives, we totally forgot about all those other problems that, somehow sneak through the cracks. Not that I have them, by the way. I'm still clean as a bell, in case a certain ladies listening. But the thing about it is this, it's one of them kind of things that you got to really pay attention to. If Scorpio season is happening, at one way or another, there's a lot of sex going on. But it's very interesting to me. Like, a lot of people are like, Jay, it's Libra season right now. I don't give a damn about that. Mom's a Libra, girl likes a Libra, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Y'all have your moment too. Go on with yourselves. Whatever y'all do. Shoot, Libras are like the most boring sign in the zodiac, next to Sagittarius. And as I'm saying that, totally feel that shade, Oh boy. Of course, at the same time, as I say that though, I should go ahead and run for the hills, because once I'm done with this, everybody's going to be like, what the hell were you talking about? And it's like, well, that's my show, man. What's interesting, though, the real event that you all are looking forward to, however, we're going to do this in a very concise form, because this will probably be the most, if I ever made a show that was normal, this will probably be the most normal J-Man show, because afterwards, though, it's Monster Fest time. Nothing but a bunch of All Hallows Eve celebration from here until the first week of November is nothing but all sorts of monsters and horror events happening, and all sorts of wickedness. I think that this will be the time that I actually go ahead and use it for its original plans. Which means that it's not just a J-Man based event, it's a J360 wide event. So that means that you get a power play presentation that is a Monster Fest. You get a J360 Jams playlist that is a Monster Fest playlist. You get anything that's J360 related right here. Oh, it's all about it, baby. If you get my meaning. And I just am feeling it, man, because I got a movie list that you all will love. And then also, a lot of people tend to ask me this, oh, you're going to talk about, and you know the rules. No talking about Freddy, no talking about Jason, no talking about Michael Myers. I mean, if anything, I will give an exception to Pinhead. I'll give an exception to Candyman. And I've already did the Final Destination film, so I can't do that right off. But I can talk about, like, how that remake or that semi-sequel that's supposed to be coming, I can talk about that. Maybe Saw to a point, but I will not talk about the top 3 slashers that you know about, because it's outplayed, it's boring, and plus, I mean, Cult 45 is already covering Friday the 13th series, and I'm sure somebody on the other podcast lineup is covering Freddy, so at the end of the day, it's like, there's no need for me to touch base on any of that, so we just go in another direction entirely, if you get my meaning. And I know how some of y'all are about that sort of thing. Trust me, it's for your own good. And then, like, before you all say, what about Chucky? Okay. To be fair, I've already talked about Chucky. I talked about Chucky on a whole nother episode, and I actually went down through the line of his films in a speed run. Matter of fact, I should just go ahead and cut the clip and play it right now, but you want me to dig through all that right now? You know what I'm saying? But, nah, we ain't fooling with him right now. And I do the Leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day, so right off the bat, every base is covered. And more or less, you're going to love all these things. And I'm on an anthology kick right now. But more on that later. Not too long ago, yesterday was actually International Podcast Day. And you see, the thing about that is support any podcaster or content creator out there whose content you love. You should be supporting them anyway, because guess what? We're doing what we can to make valuable entertainment for you. So, if you like what you hear on J360 Radio, which has landed on Amazon Music, by the way. Shout out to Amazon Music. Shout out to people who use that service. Or any of these other podcatchers out here, without y'all, there would be no J360 radio as far as I'm concerned. And the thing is, I love doing this series for you. I love doing all the series for you all out there who love to listen to this content. And truth be told, it's like this, it just keeps me going, even through COVID-19. It's not necessarily like the ideal of, like people need to laugh and all that stuff. Like, that's good too. But I'm always thinking this, like, I inspire people. I hope that one way or another that my content that I bring out there actually provides a gateway for you all. I hope that one way or another, when I stop doing this, if I stop doing this, that some of y'all will continue on the legacy or continue on the adventure. In your own way, of course, but you know what I mean. Like, one way or another, some of the certain podcasters that I listen to out there, they inspire me to do it up. So you always want to leave like a little time capsule out there for people to actually continue on, because, hey, you never know one of these days. But going into it, though, I really want to thank all of you for listening to J360 Radio and been supportive of me through J360 Productions. The adventure's not over. It's never going to be over, as far as I know. But like I said, one way or another, this is my respect to you. So respect other independent podcasters, not just the favorite ones that you like, but, listen to newer ones. Go ahead and venture out, because there's a lot of great material out there. And it's not just true crime either. Not to throw salt at them, but there's a variety too. And matter of fact, this is a variety podcast, which is why things change every week. You know what I mean? So, once again, don't even just worry about it being on, 9:30, but continue to support other independent creators as you go along. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, shoot, one way or another, I managed to put the entire squad up there, but I know I'm not done yet, because there's more and more people out there in the world creating some cool stuff. So I'll do what I can to help them out, especially after I'm done with all these upgrades here. Oh, and by the way, I know I'm hard to keep up with sometimes, so this is what I'm going to do for y'all. Remember that whole latest in J360 Radio listing I had? Yeah, I'm bringing that back on the main website. And by the way, the main website should be good to go by next Monday. So, yeah, things are going to be pretty concise there. Because I know, like, a lot of y'all are like, well, God, Jay, how many shows you got? How many episodes you make? Well, it's like this. I'll go mad from the realization of things, so, I can't go ahead and tell you all that. Because there's plenty of episodes that I made that have not been aired at all, I got a vault, man. That's amazing. But I'm actually here right now. So, I'm not going to Iron Man you right now. But other than that, though, just wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to all of you and every other podcaster out there, because, man, we made it to another one. COVID-19 hasn't stopped us entirely. So let's just stay at it, We're going back into the main part of this website. Main part of this web radio here. Going into the main part of it is the Anthologies kick I'm on right now. I'm looking at this British anthology show called Chillerite. And this is actually pretty cool. Like, it's not bad. I mean, I remember hearing about it, but this is my first time actually watching it. And the last episode I saw was a coven of witches, and they were summoning somebody, but little did they realize that what they were summoning caused a whole lot of events to happen to them, to, like killing them in multiple mutilated ways. And the little boy there was the one who had a listing of everything that went on. But you see, the thing is, the one main witch that was involved, apparently she's the witch that is not as evil as the other witches were. You see, she, on the other hand, was supposedly talking to this young boy who's traumatized after what happened to his mom dying and all. But little did they realize that he's not necessarily 100% human. If anything, he was summoned by her coven because he's the Antichrist, and he caused all that stuff to happen so that he could be around her and her alone, so that she could bring his seed in the world. Wild, ain't it? And in doing so, because he had her trapped under all this debris and stuff like that after killing off the evil priest. Yeah, it's one of them kind of things. Killing off the evil priest and all. And he was like, oh, you'll live if you, stay with me. And in doing so, you see, we cut to like a time in the future where she's there and there's a young boy there, and then the young boy starts exhibiting the abilities of the father, if you will. So, yeah, one way or another, evil won that one. And I'm just sitting there looking at that. I'm like, you know, he must have really liked her. That's what I was saying as I'm sitting there looking at it. It's something, man. Like a lot of y'all are like, but Jay, that was a child. Yeah, demon child. And you know, eventually demon childs, like regular children, eventually grow up. So it is amazing to see what they like. Hey, I don't know. Maybe they just got a thing for older women. But she was fine as a mug, man. I'd be like that too, you know what I mean? If I was a young boy, it'd be like this. Nah. You gonna be shackled up. You gonna wait for me to grow up. You gonna wait for my balls to drop. You gonna wait for the hair to just go in all the right places. And then all of a sudden you see my definition and looking at me like you can't go and get anyone else anytime soon because you're not. The plot demands it, damn it. Not to mention I wiped out all your friends. And truth be told, that's the way it is with a possessed demon. So some of you witches out there, when you summon something, be careful, because you might summon something like that, or you might summon something like J-Man. But at the same time, yeah, you was in trouble. Now, right now I'm watching this wild stuff here, and this is another one where a couple moves into an old house, you know, like the Amityville setup. And then the thing is, the creepy old lady next door is talking to the main woman. And the main woman obviously wants children, can't have children. So eventually there's going to probably be some sort of sacrifice or something that the husband gets. And, you know, we'll seed her up. And then eventually it'll probably be a Rosemary's Baby scenario. And as I said, I'm not bored. It's just that, you know, you see the setup as it goes. Like after a while, when it comes to anthology films, anthology films too. But when it comes to series like this, sometimes it becomes paint by numbers. And then you just notice how this all goes down, so you got to see how the scenario plays out. But there was one episode on another anthology show that I saw called 2 Sentence Horror Stories. Yeah, if anything, the CW needs to continue that, because that's actually pretty decent. It's not like any of their other shows where, you know, they're in corners and they're talking about their angst and how they feel. And then eventually, by three quarters in, they'll go ahead and start solving the problem, and then they don't solve it because it'll be retcon by the next episode. BS like that. But what I'm saying is that, you know, when I saw that 2 Sentence Horror Story episode dealing with the single mom, all the single moms were getting killed by this dude that was like the supreme gentleman. And the thing is that because he had like mommy issues, and then eventually he met the one woman who pretty much she was beautiful and she had a child of her own, but she was, how can I put it? You can tell she had some issues too. But nothing out of the ordinary from any other person you meet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she has a daughter, she has responsibilities, and she's just trying to find that right guy, but she likes to date, you know, and she ain't going to settle on anybody. And he, on the other hand, he had other women too, but he would kill them because they weren't living up to his expectations of what a good mother is. And after a while, you know, you realize this: what is a good mother? Let me think about the relationship between me and my mother. She wasn't that bad, though she had her moments. Anyway.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Anyway, moving on. So going back into the story, this is what happened with that dude. That dude was actually getting ready to kill the main woman. And see, the thing about the main woman is that you could go ahead and say plot armor all you want, but he had her on the ropes. But the thing is, she knew exactly where to get him at. And he was all like, how come you wouldn't let me see the baby and all that stuff? But you see, once he tried and she got him real good, and he laid there dead and stuff, we go ahead and we see what's in the baby's room. And it turns out that the baby wasn't really a baby, if you get my drift. The baby was actually a doll. And she just was crazy. Nothing was explained about how crazy she was until she killed that guy. And the thing is, she was ready to move on to another area and meet somebody else because it showed the picture of the dating site that she used to meet him. So one way or another, she... And I mean, she has a good job. She has a great job as a designer for a nice firm and everything. But you just don't know anymore, which is interesting in general, because, like a lot of normies, as they will, they'll go ahead and they'll be like, well, so is weird. Oh, the way that idea is, that's not right. And then try to go ahead and be on pedestals and try to be like they're on this platform higher than everybody else. Let us think about the real world for a minute. Everybody has personality quirks, some far more crazier than others. And the thing is that one way or another, you really don't know what you're dealing with, which is why dating and meeting people can be pretty damn treacherous. Like, you might judge somebody, offhand at first, and push them aside, but the one person you're manifesting and being with might be the one person that wouldn't hesitate to grab a sink and slap you in the head with it, or anything, you know what I'm saying? Or like just beat the living hell out of you and say, I didn't mean to do that, why you make me mad? See what I'm saying? Or just look at you and say, you didn't put my macaroni and cheese on the stove, and slap the hell out of you. Like, you just don't know, which is why it's treacherous. And then you look at the person and see, oh, well, they're the victim because they're the fair sex. But you see, once again, gentlemen and ladies and other people out there, sometimes the fair sex can be twice as treacherous as the other sex. So it's amazing to see, one way or another, the narrative that floats around out here is full of sometimes I wish it was the Hangout show so I could go ahead and unleash my alternative vocab. But right now, let us be clean. But I thought that was a good episode. I really thought it was just twisted. And it was dark in the right aspects. And it just shows you how dangerous, the world can be. Because there's a lot of people out there right now that think, oh, that's the perfect person I'm going to be with. I'm going to be husband or wife to so-and-so. And you never know. That person might be married. That person might have a whole other lifestyle. That person might not take their meds one week and decide to say, you know what? I wonder what it would be like if I bashed your head open. And not in the fun sort of, sense where it's like this. You can recover from it, if you get my drift. And it's ridiculous as hell to think otherwise, because, like I said, sometimes when you're wrestling around with your significant other and all that, it's nice, you know what I mean? Like, because you know exactly what you and yours is all about, and that there's that boundary y'all don't go beyond. But, some people, on the other hand, well, they just like to see the world burn. And speaking of which, though, the current episode I'm looking at right now, she's trying so hard. Oh, wait. She actually did get knocked up. Isn't that cute? Oh, boy. This is where all the monsters will come out, and then things will be kind of interesting. Because it starts off pretty slow. Matter of fact, I would like to give you guys some recommendations while we're here. This came from Tubi, which will actually be a segment on my show from time to time. But, oh god, that is one ugly stomach. There's a demon in there, man. Boy, they're going to have one hell of a moment. At least the father would probably be looking at that and be like, well, I don't know what the father would be like. He's kind of ugly as sin, right? I'm kidding. I'm working on trying to be a lot more nicer. And I'm failing miserably. Because, man, life's not nice. Oh, and speaking of which, here's some recommendations for you. If you like to look at anthology shows that are kind of hit and miss, I would suggest Tales from the Dark Side. If you want to look at stuff that really makes you think from time to time, Twilight Zone. If you like some sci-fi things that will really make you consider, now they're saying that there's possibly life on Venus now, consider some of the strange and outrageous, The Outer Limits. Which, by the way, the Outer Limits 60s series, I need to work on getting for keeps. But that stuff is so high, man. I mean, I keep sitting there, I keep going on eBay, I keep going on, any of these different outlets to try to pick the right price for it. One way or another, I'm going to have to break 100 for it. Oh, man. Now is not the time to be doing that, though. Trying to move, I got cool things to do in the future. So I'm seeding that every chance I get. But you know what I mean. And right now, this is just a very interesting conundrum. And not to throw too many stones at Tales from the Dark Side. Tales from the Dark Side is good, but the problem with Tales from the Dark Side is you can tell it was on a syndicated television network, so they weren't allowed to go as crazy as they like to. And you see, George A. Romero was actually one of the producers for it. Had some good stories on it, by the way, though. So if you ever see, the set for it, I highly recommend you buy it, And then, of course, Twilight Zone's always good. And then, so I could never leave him out. Alfred Hitchcock presents. Hell yeah, man. One of the greatest directors of all time. The master of suspense. If you really want to get that creep vibe going, not everything is murder, but, it might as well be, because some of the villains that he got in this stuff, awesome. I highly recommend Alfred Hitchcock presents. And he's one of the directors that inspire me, man. Hopefully I can create something at least a fraction that is as good as what he did. And speaking of which, y'all ever watch that Bates Motel show? Was it any good? Because, sometimes I always look at it like this. Certain reasons why people are creepy, that whole thing served as an origin story for Norman Bates, right? Just kind of like the Hannibal show served as an origin for Hannibal, which, by the way, the Hannibal show was decent. I'm not gonna say anything like it was. Oh, I don't want to see certain things being talked about and certain origin stories, because I like things the way they are. Well, Nurse Ratched actually has an origin show now, and I heard that one is actually not bad. I remember a long time ago, and I used to have this argument that certain villains being the way they are actually generates a more sinister vibe to them, if you get my drift. Sometimes if you're like, oh, well, I don't want to know why this person is, they just are, that right there, that's just creepy. You know what I mean? There's no explanation for this origin. But when you see the origin and the origin doesn't live up to expectations, kind of like when you found out how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, quite a lot of y'all just didn't like it. Maybe because the notes changed after a while, because at one time, you didn't really know about younglings and midichlorians and all that kind of stuff. I get it. And at one time you were always sitting there thinking of different ways of how Vader came into existence. You read about it, but the scenario played out a lot differently. You get my drift? Does that make sense? And you see, it made you realize that this person became an ultra badass. But then after a while, when you read more into it, you realize that he's technically a legless, armless cripple who is 80% still, 80% nowhere near his potential at this point. Very limited. Can't do too much because of the prosthetics in him. And he goes through chronic, constant pain all the time. It really kind of hurts, to look at that. It's like, oh, really? But then again, when you read the Darth Vader comics, however, he's actually pretty badass. There are moments where it's like, damn, son, you really went through stuff, really went through it, huh? But then after a while, you see, he doesn't just rely on his prosthetics. There was times where his prosthetics shut down and people thought he was going to die, but it turned out that he was so indebted to the Force. The Force really kept him alive, well, the dark side anyway, if you get my meaning. And like, it was really cool. Like one day when I start talking about comics like in depth again, I'll go ahead and I'll just link all that stuff to you, because you really should read that sometime. However, hopping back into this right now, obviously, like, they're still going, like, right now the couple is still going through the issue. Like, she's showing now, but everybody's wondering how come the baby's all malformed and the doctors are all they don't know exactly what the problem is, because this is not human medicine. This has nothing to do with the humans right now. This is definitely otherworldly. This might, hell, it could be a Cthulhu baby in there. You know what I'm saying? One of those Dunwich horror kind of scenarios. Which, by the way, I recommend any of y'all out there who like to read, too. Pick up some of that H.P. Lovecraft, man. Get all up in that. Not to mention Lovecraft County, which is a good show as well. Yes. Yes, indeed. And just like if anything else, like if I'm leaving anything out, feel free to drop a line and let me know. As for the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone series, they're okay. You know what Twilight Zone series that a lot of people really don't talk about? Well, the Forrest Whitaker one, which had a lot of potential. Damn network, canceling that. There's also the one from the 80s. Yeah, I've been trying to find a good copy of the one from the 80s for a while. Oh wow, she's finally giving birth to the demon baby. I bet it's gonna have like 5 eyes or maybe 2 heads, and it's just gonna be unbearable to look at. Actually, there was a series like, oh no, there wasn't a series. There was an episode from Tales from the Dark Side that was kind of like this. It was called The Milkman Cometh. And you see like this, it dealt with this couple here that one was a struggling writer and one was a teacher. And you see, the thing is, they were trying hard they have a son, but they were trying hard for a baby girl. And the thing is about the baby girl just wasn't happening. I guess because either he wasn't, sometimes you're just not the one. The pieces that you are equipped with, when they work, but then there's times where, you look at him and it's like, well, bro, you about damn near 40, and I'm sure at the end of the day you're stressed out about different things, so you're not hitting it right. But one way or another, he manages to get by on certain things because his son was like, well, why don't you ask the milkman? Yeah, it was in the scenario, so you're wondering why the son would even know about that. But he's like, ask the milkman, and he was like, oh, well, let's see what we do, because he wrote something for the milkman that comes by every time. And see, every time he wrote something to the milkman, he got something, you know what I mean? Like, he got a book deal, he got people interested, all because of this magical milkman. And then at one time, he asked the milkman to help out with another certain scenario. Now, we all know how this joke goes, right? Like, say like if you got a kid that looks like you, kind of acts like you, and it's yours, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden, like, you got a second child, but all of a sudden that second child doesn't have your eyes, or even if anybody in your family has a recessive trait, not their eyes at all. And you're like, so the ups man cometh, eh? Well, you see, here's the thing about the milkman. The milkman had magical abilities, had unique powers. And you see, when the wife was pregnant, and he thought it was because of a magical wish, well, on the day of delivery, the baby comes out, and the baby doesn't necessarily look like the father. Hell, doesn't even look like the mother. There was this reptilian hand that popped up, and I was like, what the hell is this? And it's funny too, because one way or another, how do you raise a lizard for 18 years? I guess eventually when it reaches about like 5 or something like that, it'll shred right out of its skin, and then maybe you'll probably see some human attributes, like that little bastard thing from Species, which is another good set of films. Basically because Natasha Henstridge is such a hottie, but you get my drift. Well, actually, no. The first 2 had her, and that was cool. Third one had something else, and then the fourth one, well, Well, she tried, I suppose. Oh, the demon baby's out now, and it's invisible and in her arms, and now I guess it's trying to suckle. Yeah, you can tell this is an overseas show. See, they don't have a problem with the nipple over there. I don't know what's going on over in this country. Just one of them, wayward thoughts of mine. But yeah. Lizard baby. Isn't that cute? So it's like this. If you're ever in trouble or anything, ask the milkman to help you out. And when the milkman helps you out and gives you something that, you didn't anticipate or want, all sales are final. Especially if it's a little alien baby. Ugh. That's disgusting. Well, yeah, And then, like I say, much like anything else. Oh, by the way, now on this episode, they got the old people talking at the woman, talking about like this. You lost your baby, didn't you? And it's like, there's always that old couple. You know what I mean? In any of these scenarios in these movies, there's always that old couple. While helpful in some ways, impose and drop their 2 cents on others. And it gets very annoying. Like from time to time, it's like, oh yeah, if you only knew what this main character was going through right off the bat. Damn shame. If you get my drift. But right off the bat, I got to see how this all turns out. So, one way or another, like I said, I'm on an anthology kick right now. I do have another set of movies that I want to throw your way, but I think I'll wait until next time to do that because it's Monster Fest time, y'all. Nothing but the undead, nothing but creatures from the deep, some of those cryptos, and then, of course, whatever the hell is out there in the space beyond. And then we will go ahead and try to identify a lot of things here in good old what we're used to. Matter of fact, because I think Delaware has like a whole lot of haunted areas, but I know for sure Maryland has a whole lot of haunted areas. And if I can go ahead and get around to taking a look at those scenarios, due to COVID, I'm very limited, as are some of you. We'll see where we go from here, if you get my meaning. But that's up to you. And right now, actually, no. If any of y'all got any haunted things to talk about, feel free to drop me a line at j360productions@outlook.com. Or here's another one. Hit me up on the voicemail sometime. That's 240-903-1634. I'm sure we can go ahead and get a lot of wild things to talk about, if you will. But until then, this is the J-Man signing off. I hope you all take care of yourselves, and we'll meet up again later. Peace!
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.